Okay, I think the big thing for our football team right now is really challenging our players and asking them the question, do their actions reflect what they believe, what we believe as a football team and an entire organization? You know, I worked for Coach Saban for several years. He used to say, your actions speak so loudly I can't hear what you're saying. So right now we're in the, day 5, day 6, a couple of days in a row in pads, and really challenging the players to play with that mental toughness that we expect. We had a great experience this morning. We had former player Jake DeLome come back and speak with the team. It's always good to have one of your former players and really a true Cajun, and that was Jake's message. He talked about what a Ragin Cajun is. He talked about the culture here, the uniqueness, his experience as a player, not only here but also in the National Football League. So it was great to have Jake back. We have some injury updates. Mike Jacquette is out with a concussion at this point in time. We do think he'll be back shortly. Jordan Cordova has an ankle. He'll miss practice. And Leonard Callaway has a stomach bug, and he's out as well. Ken Jones will miss the season. He did tear his ACL, so he'll prepare him for surgery here shortly. With that, we'll take some questions.
In light of Jacquette, can you talk a little bit about depth at both the corner spots?
Yeah, I think we've really improved our situation there with the rookies that we've added. Eric Garor has really come on as of lately. He's shown that he comes from a good program. He's got some maturity about him. He's a competitor, and he showed the ability to retain information and really sustain and has had good focus. I think A.J. Washington's another young corner that's really proved to be what we thought he was in the evaluation process. But we're in good position there. Greenhouse is playing better. Earl Brown is playing better. And really KJ has gotten himself in really good condition. He's quicker, faster, his technique's better. Coach Etheridge has really worked hard with those guys, and that work is paying off.
Dorsey and Butler, corner safeties, where are you?
Dorsey's playing corner. I left him out, but yes, Dorsey's doing just fine as well. Another guy that's really, consistency's the key with him. Flashes at times, but I think overall we need more consistency out of him. We're playing Percy at safety, he's doing he's done well so far.
Is I imagine Jones off the 110, obviously. Any other 110 changes besides him?
We brought in the offensive lineman.
Yeah.
Right, that's exactly right.
Tell us the attributes you like about the running backs you have.
Well, I think in general we're really a deep group. I think we've got guys that complement each other. I like Raymond Calais' big play potential. And also he's proved to be a more effective inside runner here as of late. Started that at the end of spring. We started to see him really play with better eye discipline, be more decisive as an inside runner. We all know what he can do on the perimeter and as a punt returner, kick returner type guy. Regis is practicing like a grown man right now. I mean, he's really taken his game to another level and bought into maximizing the repetitions that he's get. When you do go full speed, train for the fight, as we would say. Get yourself game ready. Elijah Mitchell, obviously we know how talented he is. He has been non-contact so far, but he's been 100%. And he is improving and showing how talented he is. Jordan Wright's the guy that really has impressed me. We didn't have him in spring as much because he was limited, but he is all these guys, Trey, Eli, Jordan, they're 210 plus. They're difficult to tackle. They play with power, big lower half, and for the most part, all these guys catch the ball well. So, that doesn't even talk about Ashton Johnson, Chris Smith, Leonard Callaway. So we've got a deep group there, and we've got a group that right now is practicing the way that we want to. I would say overall they probably are the best practice position that we have, just in terms of their effort and attitude.
Have you seen the difference with Trey? He's lost a little weight.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's no question. Trey Rakes is committed to the offseason. We try to keep him in the 2 teens. You know, we want him to be in that 217 range. You know, he was probably 226 when we got here. He's done a good job. Got his body fat percentage down. He's added some good lean mass. He's in great condition, and he's been able to practice at a high level.
How important is it to have the depth in that room in light of the durability issue?
Right.
Not only in the spring, but going backward for a couple of
Right.
guys.
Well, I think in general at running back, it's a injury-prone position. You know, it's just look at the National Football League and the value of a running back and how they faded in the draft because of the length of their career, the average length of their career, the injury rate. So we're going to be a 2 and 3 back. You know, we're going to feature 2 or 3 backs. You know, and I think that's the key there. Is we've got lots of players there. We can handle an injury and we can keep those guys fresh and be in position to really capitalize that and be a second half team. So, and we're going to have groupings where we have 2 backs out there at times. So I'm excited about the ability that we have there, but I'm more excited about the work ethic, the attitude, and the toughness that those guys have shown so far.
How does the addition of the nutrition staff help players healthy and ready for the season?
Well, I think it's been really what I like to hear is the feedback from the players relative to how we've improved the situation there. I think sometimes we take for granted that these guys actually know what to eat, when to eat it. I think that it's a big deal. And it's really about education. It's about creating habits. It's about not only impacting their training. We equate it to food as fuel. So we want to put good fuel in the car, and certainly maximizes the training that we're doing, but also at the same time, can prevent injury. I mean, the research speaks for itself. So, and Caitlin Stitcher, Coach Stitch, as we call her, she's been a professional, and we're excited about her impact on the organization so far.
What are your thoughts on the expectations from outsiders not necessarily being super high, with pretty much everybody picking either
Right.
lower in the division?
Well, I mean, there is some significance to it. I mean, it's really a reflection on the past. And I think that we can all agree that at some point around here, we're going to want to be in the poll. We're going to want to be mentioned in that conversation. But I also know that you could equate preseason polls to a palm reader, truth be known. So, the message with our team and the attitude with our team is we can't control the past. All we can do is have the right choices, decisions, and habits that can impact the future. The effort, the focus, the toughness, the being a great teammate, really mastering our craft, being a situation expert, playing with legendary finish, all these things that have to do with how this team performs, how each individual player gets better, and the cumulative effect of that leading to better quality of play for the entire team. So that's the attitude we want our players to have, and they've done that so far.
Did you see any issues going from into full pads for the first couple of times?
Well, you do. You see a certain level of fatigue comes with that. I think it's one thing to be in great condition in the summer. It's another thing to be in football condition and be prepared to play. But when you put on hip pads, a butt pad, you put on those knee braces, you put on those knee pads and those game pants, there's a certain level of conditioning relative to that. So we've got it. Our team's in tremendous shape. I mean, there's no question that Coach Hockey has done a good job, and I think the players have bought into that aspect. And we're in position to now sharpen our sword here and prepare for the season. But I've been pleased with the effort in the second half of practice, and we're straining to finish like we emphasize.
What are your expectations and goals for the first scrimmage?
Well, I think the big thing for us is we need to evaluate who can play in that type of setting. Who's got the maturity as a competitor, who can sustain, who can focus, who can process, when the coach is not out there on the field. And we want to keep the concepts in all 3 phases simple enough to where we can do that. We want to call the scrimmage in a fashion to where you know, we can truly evaluate who can block and tackle, which quarterback can process and throw completions, which receivers can separate and get open, which guys can cover. So that's the objective, declare who can play, who can process, who's dependable, and then that kind of really sets our tone for who we're going to coach and invest reps in as we prepare for that second scrimmage. So the closer we get to that game, the more it's critical that we identify who we're going to dedicate the reps to in the future.
Do you have a set amount of plays?
Yeah, it's usually between 135 and 150 plays. You know, it's all the move the field stuff. It makes up about 50% of that. Then we do some third down work. We do some red area work. We do goal line. We do coming out. We do 2-minute. So we make sure that we get some of those special situations, you know, but at the same time we want to put the ball down and simulate the game. But typically all of our scrimmages in the spring and the fall are about the same. They're in that play count range.
How's it feel to go about 13 minutes without a quarterback question?
That feels great. I appreciate that. No, I really, you know, I understand that, and I know that there's going to be more and more of those questions in the future. And, hey, it is what it is. Quarterback's a unique position. One guy gets to play. And, you know, I think we've got a great competition like lots of teams out there, and I don't think it's, you know, an issue with our football team right now, and we're pleased with both guys. So we'll cross that bridge when we have to.
Would that count as a quarterback question?
Yeah.
This will they be in
Yeah.
contact until the last scrimmage, I assume?
Well, we keep those guys non-contact year-round. I mean, there's tremendous value at that position, you know, and in all reality, I think most teams are that way. You know, it's very rare that you would go live, especially with our situation, having a delicate third, you know, in terms of who's going to be the third quarterback. We want to keep these first two guys healthy.
Well, who's gonna play quarterback for Alabama?
Yeah, that's a great question. There's a guy in a straw hat, you know, northeast of here. Feel free to drive up there and ask that question in his press conference.